Welcome back to another episode of TNLP, the newsletter podcast brought to you by the HazMat Guys. I'm your host, Timmy. Happy to be back for the 2026 season. Without any further ado, let's get right into the top hazmat stories of the year. So far, that is. We'll kick things off with the developing report out of Attleboro, Massachusetts, where crews responded Monday morning to an ammonia leak at a manufacturing facility on Perry Avenue. The fire department was alerted to the problem from an ammonia box alarm that started going off in the building. Crews later detected elevated levels of anhydrous ammonia and contacted the Massachusetts Hazardous Materials Emergency Response Division. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, exposure to high levels of ammonia can cause abdominal pain, vomiting, coughing, blisters, a burning feeling in the nose, throat, lungs, and eyes, and temporary or permanent blindness. Exposure to very high levels of ammonia can lead to death. Just quick on that note, this is why we have a catalog of episodes on ammonia response, as well as training opportunities to stay sharp on your skills. Check it out at thehazmatguys.com. The Attleboro Fire Department said state hazmat technicians entered the affected area, found the cause of the leak, and confirmed that there were no further issues. The room was then ventilated until the ammonia levels returned to safe limits. No illnesses have been reported. Heading down the East Coast, hazmat teams were reportedly monitoring the air quality in Roselle Park, New Jersey, on Friday after a massive fire at a plastic fabrication warehouse sent chemicals into the air. The inferno at the Crossfield Products Corporation facility caused a strong chemical-like odor to spread through the area. All residents have been asked to keep their windows closed. "You can smell the chemicals in the air," resident Ella Thomas said. "A little bit of burning in the esophagus." The fire at 140 Valley Road, where the company makes coating and overlays for flooring materials, started at around 4:45 p.m. Thursday, according to officials. Mayor Joseph Signorello said firefighters could not immediately enter the burning building because of the danger. He said a transformer blew and caused about 500 customers to lose power, which was not fully restored until early Friday morning. "There was a lot of explosions and firebombs. Look, I've been a fireman for 45 years. It's one of the craziest fires I've seen in a while," Signorello said. "There's probably propane in there, forklifts with propane tanks in there. There's some chemicals in there and resin." At one point, the fire escalated to 6 alarms, but officials said thankfully no one was inside. Hazmat teams said the air quality remains safe, but people who lived near the facility were told to evacuate out of an abundance of caution. "The fire was in the air, and then you could see the ember going up in the air. We didn't want any of it catching the trees or anything close to us," Barth Shaw said. "It was very close. It was definitely scary. I feel like we shouldn't be here for that long of a time without a mask," Sophia Catalina said. There were no injuries in the fire, and it did not spread to any other buildings, according to officials. The cause remains under investigation. Rounding out our episode this week, we conclude with reports of one person hospitalized after being exposed to what authorities called a suspicious substance at a mental health clinic in north suburban Evanston on Friday morning. At approximately 9:56 a.m., 911 dispatchers received a call reporting a resident in distress at Greenwood Care, located along Chicago Avenue near Greenwood Street. Evanston fire and police personnel responded to the scene and found the resident who was exhibiting signs of altered mental status. She was taken to an area hospital for treatment, authorities said. Evanston police said a suspicious substance was located in the resident's room, prompting a hazmat response. Crews tested the substance, as well as a fanny pack that was in the woman's possession, and determined they didn't pose a threat to the public. The substance was collected and will be sent to the Illinois State Police Crime Lab for drug analysis. As a precaution, Chicago Avenue was closed between Dempster Street and Lake Street during the incident, but was later reopened for public use. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Newsletter Podcast, brought to you by the HazMat Guys. We're less than a month away from the first ever Southernmost Hazmat Conference. Stragglers still have time to register, and registered attendees can now register for conference courses. Learn more at thehazmatguys.com/conference. We'll see you next time. Timmy, over and out.